Good morning, everybody. Welcome to today's talk on social engineering hacking concepts. It's part of the series in certified ethical hacking. So my name is Vic. I'm from Determining Tools. Let's get started. So, what is social engineering? The use of deception to manipulate individuals into divulging confidential or personal information that may be used for fraudulent purposes. For example, people with an online account should watch out for phishing attacks and other forms of social engineering, the psychological manipulation of people into sharing confidential information or performing actions that they shouldn't do. This is like a low-tech way of gaining unauthorized information or confidential information or access to systems. Impact of uh, social engineering on an organization. So social engineers rely on the fact that people are not aware of the value of their information and don't protect it properly. For instance, uh, it would not be appropriate to share your login access in your company with your fellow colleague. The password has to be kept secret. So that is understandable. And sometimes what happens is you keep the passwords as name of your spouse or name of your mother. And if this personal information is gained by the colleague, if he hacks in, he gets access to your information. So you have to be careful. Now, impact of social engineering attacks on an organization. It includes financial loss, loss of privacy, potential terrorism, damaged goodwill, temporary and permanent closures, and potential lawsuits, and more. Next, let's get a little deeper. For individuals, let's see how social engineering is going to be effective. First, financial loss. Victims can be tricked into sending money or giving up financial information, which can lead to theft of funds or credit card numbers. Next, identity theft. Stolen personal information like social security numbers and login credentials can be used to commit identity fraud. Reputation damage. Once you are hacked and personal information is put on the internet, uh, the public exposure of such information or involvement in a company breach can harm an individual's reputation. Now let's look at how social engineering affects organizations. Data breaches. Attackers gain access to sensitive information. Financial loss. Businesses can suffer by data theft or ransomware or other such data protecting issues. Reputation damage. Yeah, not just the individual, even companies, organizations face reputation damage. Operational disruptions. So if the system is hacked, a couple of days to time is gone to write patches, get it fixed, and in this time the business is affected. Next, human motivation for falling as a victim. See, there is fear, there is greed, curiosity, helplessness, helplessness, urgency, obedience to authority. So these are some of the motivating factors which will lead them to falling for victims. Next, organizational vulnerability to attacks. These are the things which lead to the organizations, make them uh, vulnerable to attacks. First, insufficient training in security. When the orientation is happening for the employee, there should be a separate session for training him on security and data protection laws. Next, multiple organization units and departments. The huge the company, it becomes a mammoth task to uh, enlighten them with the knowledge of protecting private and companies' proprietary confidential information. Then next, insufficient lack of security policies, procedure and protocols that are unclear or not adequately enforced or explained. Next, why social engineering is effective? It is very effective. See, you are vulnerable at times. How much ever good, how much ever intelligent, how much ever clever, how much ever knowledge you have, sometimes you are bound to fall into the perpetrator's hands. Social engineering attacks are difficult to detect. 100% security is not possible. It's impossible to have 100% security. There will be a bug or there will be a issue somewhere or the other. Technology cannot adequately compensate for poor judgment. Next, phases of social engineering. First, the perpetrator researches the target organization. He, via the website, employee, company name, company tool, company visit, anyway. Next, he's going to become a victim, somebody who will determine the most vulnerable employee. Then develop a relationship with him, talk to him, uh, make him a friend, talk to him, give him more, get more information from him, give him information to earn his trust. Then after that, he's going to exploit the relationship. Social engineering techniques. The common social engineering techniques are as follows. First is impersonation, calling the victim inside the company or at home and pretending to be someone the user trusts, such as an authority figure or IT support. Pretexting, giving the victim a reason for requesting something of them. Quid pro quo, relies on exchange of information or surveys to convince the victim to act. Tailgating, an authorized person follows an unauthorized person follows an authorized person into the secure or restricted area without the knowledge or consent of the authorized person. Piggybacking, an unauthorized person follows an unauthorized person into the secure or restricted area with the consent of the authorized person. There's difference between tailgating and piggybacking. Tailgating is without the knowledge of the person. So for instance, walking into a secure building, he swipes his card and gets in. Without him knowing, before the door is closed, he enters in. And in piggybacking, what happens is he the the perpetrator takes the trust of the victim and along with him, with his knowledge, enters the building. Next, common social attacks continued. Phishing, sending a fake email to a user to entice them into opening a malicious attachment or clicking on a malicious link. So phishing attack. So for instance, somebody can send you an email with a link to PayPal saying you have won money, but when you click on it, your account money will be going to his account. Then bailing, a phishing attack that typically targets a high-value person such as a CEO or a celebrity. Spear phishing, a spear phishing attack is targeted towards a specific group. You have a group, and then you send a link to them, and the financial information is access to that. Then phishing, urgent voice calls or pre-recorded messages that pressurize victims into acting quickly to share data or financial information. Next, water holing, enticing users with the common interest to visit a malicious website targeted for a group, often uses a mechanism to gain entry into a specific network, company network to get into. Farming, redirecting a user to bogus website that mimics the appearance of a legitimate one. Clickjacking, over an invisible HTML element in a page, overlay an element in a page, and when you click on it, it hijacks your browser and it shows different messages. When you click on it, it will take you to malicious links. Next, baiting, online or physical attack that promises the victim a reward. Fake mal Victims are tricked into believing that the malware is installed on their computer, and if they pay, the malware will be removed. This is fake malware. They just take your financial information and they steal the money. Ransomware, a form of malicious software that encrypts the data and then demands a paid ransom for the decryption key. Decryption key. So what happens is they hack the site and they uh, they lock the entire data, and then they send an email to the company saying that we have hacked in, we have uh, uh, hacked and locked the data, and if you give us money, if you send money to this account by this time, they will give you a decryption key which you can gain access to your data. And what typically happens is there are two things. One, either the company boasts and pays the attacker the money and get the key and gets the data, or they will reload the data back to the last backup they have. So that so without paying they'll do that, but the only problem is that transactions that happened on yesterday will be lost. For example, like this, the attack happened yesterday. The backup is day before yesterday. They roll the site to the uh, before this backup, and they'll have only a loss of 1 day. So these are two things that happens there. Then shoulder surfing is unauthorized person spies over your shoulder to get access to the site. Dumpster driving is going through your trash cans in the company and you throw away documents which are critical information, and they throw it in the trash can, and when the company comes, when the unauthorized person comes, he goes to the dumpster, takes out the confidential information and get access to the data. Yes. Next, identifying phishing. So identifying phishing, these are the things you have to keep in mind when you're identifying phishing attempt. So you get an email from somebody called a secure bank. First, look at the email address. If it has something ABCDEFG securebank BCDFG at gmail.com, that means it's a phishing attempt. It's not a genuine site. Next, look for the subject. It just is it too relevant or is it specific? You have to look at that. Next, look for spelling and grammar errors. If it is correctly written, well laid out, then it's fine. Or else it's a sign that it's a phishing attempt. Then do not click the link directly. Okay, just check the link whether it is uh, correct or wrong. Then do not download attachments from something that is suspect as a phishing attempt. And another more examples of phishing attempts are like this. You go to a site and it opens, it shows here that it redirects to a different site, which is Home Depot. And it says click here to get your money. Or it shows the next site where it says it congratulates you and asks you to log in. So in this way, it collects this information. What is phishing exams? Phishing is nothing but a uh, attempt of getting access to your information. So for instance, look at this phishing of them. What tells you this SMS or this message is a smish, is a fake? The sender is from a Gmail account. It talks about US government and sends from a Gmail account. Grammar and punctuator errors. And see how people, Americans tend to refer to the government as US government, but here in the message it is written as American government. So these are the things that you should just watch. It's a common basic thing, common sense here, basic things which you can watch out, and you can identify these are phishing attempts. Next, this is another different messages. So look at two things here, two other messages here. First has some below the photo of the person is there's an email link which says arbitrary number of alphabets and strings are used. And in the information it says click on the link to get your BMO account has been suspended because we have detected suspicious activity. Please restore and click on the link. So this is phishing attempt because in the message when you see on the top it has a non-relevant email ID. Next is a text message that has come, which is your package delivery, and it talks about your package delivery has been suspended due to missing house number. But it says click on this link to enter. So this is a phishing attempt because it does not give any details of what package, where it is coming from, what is happening. So this is a phishing example. Next, bogus virus alerts. So in your browser, it typically gets clickjacked. So when you go to the link, it the if it is not secured, it has these elements which shows that it gives a fake message. It gives saying that virus is detected in your computer. Browsers does not have antivirus, but these messages appear. When you click on it, the clickjack happens, and that uh, the uh, the the clickjacking uh, captures your browser's cache and sits in there permanently, troubling you even more. So you have to install a malware removing tool and then run it and remove uh, the malware sitting in your browser's cache. Next, take website credential harvesting example. So farming is like what farming means is fake login page was presented to the user uh, who's trying to go to the real site. I'll explain it to you more. What is water holing? Compromising a popular website that a target group is likely known to visit. When the victim visits the site, they unknowingly install malware, and this malware is designed typically to be used to compromise their whole network. Okay, so let's look at how it works. First, it is targeting. An attacker targets identifies a group with specific online habits, like employee of a company, member of a political in the website they previously visited. Infection. Next, the attacker compromises a legitimate trusted website used by the targeting group. This can be done by injecting malicious code like scripts or iframes into the site's page. Malware delivery. When a member of the targeted group visits the compromised website, drive-by download automatically infects their computer with malware, often without any obvious signs of an attack. Last is exploitation. Once the user device is infected, the attacker can steal data, monitor activity, or use the compromised machine to gain access to a larger corporate network. How to prevent watering hole attacks? For strong network security. Second, employee education. And third, uh, educate them on using security tools to often keep on checking for activities and have your network admin monitor network traffic. And the last is to take regular backups. Perform regular data backups to ensure data can be restored in case of a successful attack. Next, URL jacking. So So URL hijacking is where an attacker exploits uh, typing mistakes the users make when they're entering a website URL. Also, it's called as typo squatting. So DNS sends the typo site to a bogus site. So for instance, facebook.com. If you hit facebook.com, it's correct. But if you hit facbook, there's no K, face, face, there's no E, there's only facbook, Facebook. It goes to a different wrong site where the information is uh, hijacked. So typo squatted websites are often used in phishing. So wrong top level domain, similar or misspelled names. These are some of the things. RFID smishing is similar like that, but you hack into their RFID account. So what happens is not account. What I meant is it hacks into the RFID device. So they steal the data. For instance, if you have an RFID device, for instance, you have a purse holder, and you uniquely identify it via the RFID device. And sometimes they can hack into it and yeah, so I can hack into it and break into that. Next, USB stick baiting. So in the USB, they put the uh, app which, when plugged into the computer, hijacks and installs malware. Next, USA cable baiting. So it sits in the firmware of the USB cable, and whenever this is connected to the computer or the device, the victim plugs in on the phone into the computer, then the malware gets installed. Next, dumpster driving. So in dumpster driving, what happens is so the data or the confidential information printouts that are taken are all dumped into it. If they're not confidentially deleted and destroyed, they are they're properly if they're not properly disposed, confidential information about the software or whatever their confidential the company has will be leaked. Non-phishing attacks. Non-phishing attacks are spam, sending spam to the user, then hoaxes, chain letters, so forth and so forth. Look at the example, hoax email. So in this email, you see Mark Zuckerberg sending an email to the user saying that he's donating money and wants his financial information so he can send it to his bank account. This is the hoax example. Next hoax example two. This is showing a message from Bill Gates saying that he wants to share his fortune. So, so this is example of hoax emails. Next, social engineering. Let's talk about the various tools used for social engineering. So the most popular is Metasploit Pro and Metasploit Framework are the most popular. But SET is one of the tools that is created and written by Dave Kennedy, the founder of Trusted Set. It's an open source Python driven tool aimed at penetration testing around social engineering. This is how it looks when you launch the tool in your computer. This is how it looks. So it gives you options is what it needs to do, including penetration testing. Next, email relays. So email relay is nothing but the server is misconfigured to send any emails that come, it sends it to a bulk of the people. Then spear phishing or whaling example. So here the sends a attacker sends a victim a fake email with a link to a app like Facebook. But the user enters, so in the link, if he opens it, it goes to a fake login page where the user name and password are taken. When you click on enter, that password and login from the fake site is sent back to the hacker or the person who's attacker, and after that it redirects him to the original page. So the user thinks, oh, his entered data is not correctly entered, and that's why the page reloaded is what he's going to think, but the information of his login and password is delivered to the attacker. Next, mobile-based social attacks. So attacks are so even mobile-based social media attacks are possible. One of them is Zitmo. It's a banking malware that was ported on Android, and it sends credit financial information from the phone to the attacker. Next, phishing malicious apps are there. Packaging legitimate apps needs to be priority of the company. Like Google needs to take extra precautions of all the APKs that are being uploaded into the Play Store. And fake security applications exist. When you download them, critical information from your phone is delivered to the attacker. So these are some of the things. Next, social media identity theft and insider threat. So what a social media hacking is getting on your following you socially on your social media and getting all the critical personal information which is used to exploit your accounts, online accounts or financial data, etc. and so forth. So this is the common use of social media sites for social engineering include account takeovers and cloning, target scams and attackers, fake fundraisers, fake get rich quick schemes, data gathering and data theft. These are some of the common uses of social media, social engineering hacks. So what happens in this scenario? Social media information disclosure scenario. During the annual cybersecurity awareness training in your company, the instructor states that employees should be careful about what information they post on social media. So this the employers needs to update their employees to be careful with what data they share online about the company. Next, the attacker could use all this information posted on this site to perform a cognitive password attack. You can do that. Next, a cognitive password is a form of knowledge-based authentication. And next is identity theft. This is a crime where you take the identity of the person. A crime in which one person steals another person's name and personal information to commit fraud. For instance, look at this. A thief identifies a target and does the following: searches for the target's address online, gains access to his utility bill, then he visits the Department of Motor Vehicle, provides proof for the identity, changes the target's address, and gets a new driver's license. Now, with the driver's license, he goes to the target's bank, applies for a new credit card. The target will receive the credit card uh, bill, and the user will get the credit card because the address has been updated to him. Once he gets the credit card, he illegally uses it, and then the bill has to be paid by the person, innocent person. This is an example of identity theft. Next, countermeasures. You have to be very careful. Monitor your personal information. Alert uh, alert the uh, assigned or correct people of any suspicious activities. Let there be a credit card suspicion activity. What is it? Alert the people fast. And contact credit bureaus, banks, and creditors on your behalf if something is happened. So you have to take those. Insider threats. Insider threats is nothing but the any insider, any person within the company or the organization who has a knowledge of the organization resources, including personal facilities, information, equipment, networks, and systems. So he'll be a threat only when poor performance arises, voicing disagreement with policies, when the employee and employer don't have agreement with policies, disagreement between co-workers, change in personality or mood, financial distress. These are some of the things that are there. And some of the indicators are alcohol, drug, gambling, and other uses, unexplained financial gain, odd working hours, unusual interest in co-workers' personal life or information, unusual interest in a program, project resources, and other topics that are outside the scope of the person's normal job duties, unusual overseas travel. These are some of the indicators that you can see to early identify insider threat. And insider threat actions. When the person becomes a threat, he either does violence or does espionage or sabotage or theft or malicious cyber activities, collision with outside actors. So even these are the things that can manifest various insider threat can manifest into the following. Next, countermeasures. Social engineering countermeasures. First, train the employee, train him on security policies and data protection policies. Periodically test training effectiveness and refresh updates. Post reminders and encourage in the physical workspace to be careful with their data. Ensure the browsers have proper privacy and security settings. Configuration of spam filters on email servers and email chests, and ensure all guests are escorted while they are on site in the company. Ensure the mailroom, server room, phone closet, and other sensitive areas are logged and monitored at all times. Keep an update inventory of communication equipment. Use multi-factor authentications. Use not just one but multi-factor authentication. Use multiple layers of antivirus, anti-phishing defenses at all gates. So these are some of the ways to do it. Impersonation countermeasures, you have to be very careful with all the security that you provide to the employee, like in the security access cards, everything. You have to be careful to see if impersonation is done. You have to carry phishing countermeasures. Familiarize yourself with these indicators. Unknown, expected, or suspicious activities, missing or incorrect recipient's name in the body of the messages, spelling errors, then phone numbers and actual senders. Examine whether the header has valid phone number and valid actual email or actual sender. Never click a link which you suspect it's supposed to have phishing or some suspicious activity. Training and awareness. So for instance, look at this scenario. Just after you come from a lunch break, you receive a suspicious email in your inbox. You are familiar with the sender, but the subject line has strange characters in it. So what should you do? Simple. First, forward the email that you got to company's IT team to your admin or your network administrator or your IT admin, security admin. Send it to him. He's going to look at that and permanently delete the email to avoid possible damage, including links. Delete the links. The next threat unexpected. Yeah, social measures, social engineering countermeasures also include always double check the source of giveaways and fundraisers. Don't automatically trust social media ads. Optimize your privacy settings. Check your friendly ties. These are some of the ways to do it. Inside threat mitigation, just keep a watch out. Find the abnormalities in the behavior of the employee and see if he is spending more hours, he's not being paid properly, or is demanding for more hours, is breaking the policy. So these are the things you have to make sure to mitigate insider pressure. First, in simple terms, know your people, identify the organization assets and prioritize risks, establish a proven operational approach for, for the for the company's employees. Review. So here we have come into the presentation. So let's do a quick review first. Social engineering is the use of psychological manipulation through fear, greed, curiosity, helplessness, urgency, obedience to authority. You conceive people to disclose information or perform an action that they ordinarily would not do. Okay, attackers use it to acquire sensitive information, impersonate access privileges. Computer-based social engineering involves using computer software to get information. Human-based social engineering involves getting information through human interaction. Successful human-based social engineering requires the hacker to have good skills, have good interpersonal skills, be creative, be friendly, and easy to talk. These are some characteristics of a successful attacker. Next, social engineering techniques include impersonation, pretexting, quid pro quo, phishing, water holing, farming, clickjacking, uh, baiting, fake malware and ransomware, shoulder surfing, piggybacking and tailgating, RFID skimming, URL hijacking, and other things. Next, uh, so identity theft is when one person steals another person's name and personal information to commit fraud. An insider threat is someone who would use legitimate privileged access and knowledge to harm the organization. Insiders don't normally start as a threat, but sometimes they intentionally become insider threats. The best defense relies on the implementation of good policies and procedures in the company, effective training right from the hiring day to even have every 6 months security training to be done, so they're keep up to date about what's happening in the company. Technical controls when available. And another last thing that I want to say is uh, one of the most popular way of social engineering is through phishing among all the things, because what happens is during phishing, so you have a legitimate website, so your website called as www.google, not Google, let's say www.bellsfargo.com. So what happens in the phishing is their email goes to a person saying that please log into this site and you would gain access to the money or your account information. When he clicks on it, it instead of going to Wells Fargo, it redirects him to another site located on the hacked server, which has information as login to send money. So when he goes in without knowing, he's going to enter the information and his money will be stolen by the phishing attack. So these are some of the one of the most popular way of social engineering. So this brings us to the end of this session. I would like to thank you for spending some of your time understanding social engineering and how social engineering can be used to hack, and yeah, that's it. Thank you.